Okay, so the Tower of Hera bomb jump. Um, there's a few different ways to do this. Uh, One is to just kind of like learn a lineup. The problem with learning a lineup is that there's only a 2 pixel window. And if you tap too far, you're going to fall down, right? So the easiest way to learn this, honestly, if you're not familiar with it, is to learn how to do the spin setup, which is you've probably seen it, but it's you get a spin ready and you go like you're going to fall down, but then you don't, and you end up not falling. But some people aren't comfortable with that. I'm not gonna. We can talk spin setup stuff separately later. So let's talk about what you can do if you can't do the spin setup, right? Because if you can do the spin setup, that's literally all you need. It's just get your bomb, do the spin setup, drop the bomb, and you're good. That's it. Um, if you are not familiar with that though, so the nice thing with the Hera bomb jump is that you've got these two lovely walls, and there's a weird affectation for whatever reason when you bonk, the pixel window for the bomb jump goes from 2 pixels to 5. It gets really big. So, like, the window goes from needing to be like here or 1 pixel lower. Like, this is the lowest you can be on a regular bomb jump. But with the bonk setup, you can be like here, and it still works. It's really forgiving. So basically, the way that the bonk setup works, it still takes practice, is that you want to drop the bomb, and then what you're going to do is you're going to walk up above it, turn to the left so you don't pick the bomb up. Make sure you are not at risk of picking the bomb up, and then you want to bonk right before it explodes. So we're going to do this. So I just made a save state. So I'm standing right here. Didn't make it, right? So we're going to do the same thing. I made it. Right. The bonk setup makes it much more... You still have to learn a little bit about the lineups, but like it requires being so less precise in terms of walking up. Like I didn't really even... I just kind of YOLO'd this. Right? Like I just sort of walked up into it. Like you can see I'm way below. So again, like to do the spin setup, watch how much for like I would have to be like here. That's how much higher you have to be. Like I was here and it still worked fine. Right? So like if you do use the Link sprite, I used to always use his ear. But a lot of people don't use the Link sprite. You can kind of use like a shadow lineup as long as you get your shadow sort of like if you're walking up, or let's put it this way: if you've got your sword out and you're facing down, if your shadow is kind of even with, you see how the circles here, they go from like there's the diagonal part, like right, like it goes from being like diagonal to vertical, like this part. You can see where like the tip of my sword is, the middle of that. If your shadow, when you're facing down, is at that point, even with that point, or above it, you're fine. For the bonk strat, like here is totally fine. You're plenty far up. You can be like here, and it's still fine. Like this, all of these are fine. All of the, this pixel is fine. All of, I deserve that. But like if you're facing down, like basically as long as your shadow is, you know, kind of above that like vertical line there, you can see like I'm above the vertical line, you're good. So get to the right wall. Don't have your sword out. Just get to the right wall. Drop the bomb. Walk a bit to the left. See, I waited too long. I haven't done this in a bit, but you still have to learn the timing. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it still takes some practice. Yeah, you can't wait until it's starting to explode or it won't work. There we go. You have to basically start your dash a little bit before it starts flashing. If you wait till it starts flashing, you won't get it. You won't get done. You won't go in time. So Again, let's talk about it. So the most consistent way is if you can learn the spin setup, because this will work 100% of the time. You will always be on a pixel that works. You don't need a bonk or anything. You're good to go. If you aren't comfortable with the spin setup, then just get yourself on like kind of like reasonably close to the pit. You know, again, kind of like check that you can see like some of that vertical line in the middle between those two circles. Drop the bomb. Too early. Oh, I still got it. I was high enough that it still worked. That was the lower of the two like regular pixels. There we go. So that's the bonk strat, and then again, you can learn to try and like just know how high you can go. I do have a lineup that I used for a while with my sprite of like knowing how high was high enough. I think this is good. I haven't done this with the link sprite in a while. Yeah, so like I didn't do the spin setup there. I just happened to know that's high enough. You have to know exactly how it looks. Yeah, see, that's the risk, is that you can get yourself in trouble. Just because it's kind of like a useful other option is if you have the hammer. I'm just going to show this. You can do this with a few different items. But if you item dash, you can actually do the same kind of like spin setup, right? So like the spin setup puts you on the top. If I item dash, when I start sliding as though I'm going to fall and I push down, it'll actually walk me back off the ledge as well. See that? So watch the input display again. So I do the item dash, and I push down to move away from the edge of the ledge once Link starts to make kind of his like falling animation. You are now on the edge as well. Don't worry about this too much. It probably won't come up, but I have seen people say that this is actually easier for them, so I did want to mention it. I didn't find it easier, but it is another way that works. Again, probably the best one for Hera is, you know, just kind of, okay, we're high enough, cool. Got the bomb. Bonk setup. It's barely slower than the regular spin setup. It's really pretty good. So it's worth learning. It's a lot easier. When I ran NMG, I used the bonk setup until like I was like a 130 runner, basically. It's very consistent. I know people who used it until they were like 128 runners. So it's not bad at all.